tiger mother. When her children are born, some power teaches the tiger to be gentle. A spirit she cannot resist, for it is the spirit of her creator, enters her savage heart. It is a tiger's impulse to resent an injury. Pluck her by the hair, smite her on the flank, she will leap upon and rend you. But to resent an injury is not her strongest impulse. Watch those impotent kitten creatures playing with her. They are so weak. A careless movement of her giant paw will destroy them, but she makes no careless movement. They have caused her 100-fold the pain your blow produced, yet she does not render evil for evil. These puny mites of helpless impotence she strokes with love's light in her eyes. She licks the shapeless forms of her tormentors, and as they plunge at her, love transforms each groan of her anguish into a whinny of delight. She moves her massive head in a way which shows that he who bade you turn the other cheek created her. When strong enough to rise, the terrible creature goes forth to sacrifice herself for her own. She will starve that they might thrive. She is terrible for her little ones, as God is terrible for his. We have all seen these mother fortresses hundreds of times, and have called them godlike. And one would think that the sign would have made us fly to our refuge in the dwelling place of God, and leave outside all fear. But the trouble is, we point-blank refuse to believe that the Bible means any such good news. Not in words, perhaps, but in effect. We say, "The Lord's arms are not so dependable as the strong, loving arms of the weakest earthly mother. The Lord's bosom is not as tender as the tiger's bosom. The Lord's wings are not as brooding as the wings of the little mother hen." We know all these beautiful earthly fortresses are made and fashioned by him, but we cannot believe that he himself is equal to them. To have him for our fortress does not really mean to us anything half so safe or half so tender as to have a mother for our fortress. And so mothers are trusted, and God is not. And yet how safe the psalmist declares this divine dwelling place to be. Notice how he says that we who are in this dwelling place shall be afraid of nothing, not for the terror by night, nor the arrow by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Thousands shall fall beside us and around us, but no evil shall befall the soul that is hidden in this divine dwelling place. No plague shall come nigh those who have made God their habitation. All the terrors and all the plagues that have made our religious lives so uncomfortable and even so wretched, are provided for here, and from all of them we shall be delivered, if we make the Lord our habitation. This does not mean that we shall have no outward trials. Plagues in abundance may attack your body and your goods, but your body and your goods are not yourself, and nothing can come nigh you, the real interior you, while you are dwelling in God. A large part of the pain of life comes from the haunting fear of evil, which so often besets us. Our lives are full of supposes. Suppose this should happen, or suppose that should happen. What could we do? How could we bear it? But if we are living in the high tower of the dwelling place of God, all these supposes will drop out of our lives. We shall be quiet from the fear of evil, for no threatenings of evil can penetrate into the high tower of God. In all this I do not, of course, mean that we are to lie in bed and let things go. I am talking about the inward aspect of our affairs, not the outward. Outwardly, we may have to be full of active carefulness, but it must all be from the inward basis of a soul that has hidden itself and all its interest in the dwelling place of God, and that is therefore careful for nothing, in the beautiful Bible sense of having no anxious thoughts. To be thus without care inwardly is the surest foundation for successful outward care. And the soul that is hidden in the dwelling place of God is the soul that will be able to bear triumphantly earth's greatest trials, and to conquer its strongest foes. There is one point I must not fail to mention. When we move into a new house, we not only move in ourselves, but we take with us all our belongings of every sort or description, and above all we take our family. No one would be so foolish as to leave anything he cared for or anyone he loved outside, but I am afraid there are some of God's children who move into the dwelling place of God themselves, but who, by their lack of faith, leave outside those they love best, and more often than not, it is their children who are so abandoned. We would be horrified at a father who, in a time of danger, should flee into a fortress for safety, but should leave his children outside, and yet hundreds of Christians do this very thing. Every anxious thought in which we indulge about our children proves that we have not really taken them with us into the dwelling place of God.